The skies over Pakistan roared with the deafening thunder of fighter jets on May 7, 2025. India, in a display of military might, launched a series of airstrikes dubbed Operation Sindoor. Targets included what India claimed were terrorist training camps and infrastructure sites located deep within Pakistan and Pakistan-administered Kashmir. This operation marked a significant escalation in the already tense relationship between the two nuclear-armed neighbors. Images of the strikes, captured on satellite and shared across global news outlets, painted a stark picture of the escalating conflict. The Indian government wasted no time in justifying the strikes. They pointed to a horrific terrorist attack that had occurred just weeks earlier on April 22, 2025, in Indian-controlled Kashmir. The attack, which claimed the lives of 26 innocent civilians, sent shockwaves through India and ignited public outrage. India accused Pakistan of harboring the terrorist group responsible for the attack, a charge Pakistan vehemently denied. The international community watched with bated breath as the situation unfolded, fearing a dangerous escalation of violence. The aftermath of the strikes saw a flurry of claims and counterclaims from both sides. India asserted that its fighter jets had successfully neutralized 9 key terrorist sites, effectively delivering a blow to those seeking to harm India. Pakistan, however, painted a different picture. They claimed that the Indian strikes had not only missed their intended targets, but had also resulted in civilian casualties. Images of damaged homes and terrified civilians in Pakistani villages began to circulate, raising questions about the true impact of the operation. Adding to the confusion, Pakistan declared that its air defenses had successfully countered the Indian attack, shooting down 5 Indian jets and a drone. They even produced what they claimed was wreckage from the downed aircraft, including parts bearing French manufacturer labels, suggesting that some of the downed planes were advanced Rafale jets recently acquired by India. India, however, denied suffering any losses, leaving the true extent of the air engagement shrouded in uncertainty. The April 22nd attack, which served as the catalyst for Operation Sindoor, cut deep into the heart of India's security concerns. The attack, carried out in a crowded marketplace in Indian-controlled Kashmir, bore all the hallmarks of a meticulously planned terrorist operation. Eyewitness accounts spoke of a scene of utter chaos and carnage, with bodies strewn across the ground and the air thick with the smell of explosives. The images of grieving families and injured civilians, broadcast on news channels across India, fueled a wave of anger and demands for retribution. India's response, Operation Sindoor, marked a significant departure from its previous responses to terrorist attacks. While India had conducted airstrikes within Pakistan-controlled territory in the past, notably after the Pulwama attack in 2019, this operation was different. Operation Sindoor was far more extensive in scale and targeted areas deeper inside Pakistan than ever before, including locations within the Punjab province. This bold move signaled a new assertiveness in India's security policy, but it also carried the risk of provoking a larger conflict. The international community reacted to the strikes with a mixture of concern and calls for restraint. The United States, while acknowledging India's right to defend itself, urged both sides to de-escalate the situation and engage in dialogue. The United Nations echoed these sentiments, with the Secretary-General calling for maximum military restraint to prevent the situation from spiraling out of control. China, Pakistan's close ally, expressed deep concern and urged both sides to exercise restraint and resolve their differences through dialogue. The strikes also sent ripples through the global economy. Airspace closures around major Pakistani cities like Lahore and Karachi, implemented as a security measure, led to widespread disruptions in air travel. Several international airlines were forced to cancel or reroute flights, impacting thousands of travelers. The Indian stock market, a barometer of investor confidence, experienced volatility in the aftermath of the strikes, reflecting the uncertainty surrounding the situation. These economic repercussions highlighted the interconnected nature of global affairs and the far-reaching consequences of conflict. The geopolitical fallout from Operation Sindoor was immediate and far-reaching. The attack put Pakistan in a delicate position, While denying any involvement in the April 22nd attack, Pakistan faced intense international pressure to crack down on terrorist groups operating within its borders. At the same time, Pakistan had to balance these demands with its own domestic political considerations. Any perceived capitulation to India's demands could be seen as a sign of weakness and could potentially destabilize the government. Pakistan responded to the strikes on multiple fronts. Militarily, they remained on high alert, bolstering their defenses along the border and vowing a befitting response should India launch further attacks. Diplomatically, Pakistan actively engaged with the international community, rallying support for their position and condemning India's actions as a violation of their sovereignty. They brought the issue before the UN Security Council, asserting their right to self-defense and calling for international intervention to prevent further escalation. The international community found itself walking a tightrope, trying to balance calls for de-escalation with the need to address the root causes of the conflict. The United States, while maintaining its close ties with India, also acknowledged the need to address Pakistan's security concerns. They engaged in shuttle diplomacy, urging both sides to exercise restraint and offering to mediate talks. China, wary of India's growing military assertiveness, threw its weight behind Pakistan, calling for a peaceful resolution through dialogue. The long-term consequences of Operation Sindoor remained uncertain. The strikes undoubtedly dealt a blow to terrorist infrastructure in the region, but the potential for retaliatory attacks remained high. The already fragile peace process between India and Pakistan, already stalled for years, suffered another setback. The international community, grappling with multiple global crises, found itself once again drawn into the complex and volatile dynamics of the India-Pakistan conflict. To understand the gravity of the current situation, one must delve into the tumultuous history of India and Pakistan. The two nations, once united under British colonial rule, gained independence in 1947, but were tragically partitioned along religious lines. This partition led to one of the largest mass migrations in human history, accompanied by horrific violence and bloodshed that left an indelible scar on the collective memory of both nations. The bone of contention between India and Pakistan has primarily been the disputed region of Kashmir. Both countries lay claim to this strategically important and resource-rich territory, leading to 3 major wars and numerous smaller conflicts since 1947. The conflict over Kashmir has not only resulted in immense human suffering, but has also consumed precious resources and hindered the development of both nations. Despite numerous attempts at reconciliation, the relationship between India and Pakistan has remained fraught with mistrust and hostility. Periods of relative calm have been punctuated by spikes in violence, often triggered by terrorist attacks or border skirmishes. The 2003 ceasefire agreement, a glimmer of hope in an otherwise bleak landscape, has been violated numerous times, highlighting the fragility of the peace. Operation Sindoor represented a significant escalation in this long and bitter conflict. It marked a departure from India's previous policy of strategic restraint and signaled a new willingness to use military force to achieve its security objectives. While the strikes may have temporarily appeased domestic calls for action, they also raised the specter of a wider conflict, the consequences of which could be catastrophic for both nations and the region as a whole.